This conference will now be recorded.
For which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I believe we have no amendment, so I just need the adoption of the agenda. Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0-0. I will open public comment portion. Individuals may address the city council about any items of concern. Speakers must state their name and limit their remarks to 3 minutes. Sarah.
Hi, my name is Sarah Bertzinger. It's nice to see everyone here, and thank you for letting me come. I live just outside of Pine Island, and I'm running for House District 20B, and I just wanted to come say hi and basically listen and partake and learn about local government. And so I have my contact info if you have any questions or want to get hold of me.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. Any questions for Sarah? I think everybody's met Sarah here, so perfect. Thanks for stopping.
Thanks for having me.
Any more public comments? Tony? No? I will close the public portion and we'll do consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered routine by council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda to be considered in its normal sequence on agenda.
I need to make one comment on the minutes. There was a typo for the amount for the bid from Schumacher's. It was not $5.5 million. It was $2.5 million. So just make that note. And then there's just a couple misspellings. So we get that all cleaned up. It'll be in the approved minutes. So just proceed as normal and we get it all drafted away for you.
Do you have a motion to approve?
Make motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0-0. Accounts payable, Kevin.
There's two things to draw your attention to on this one. We've got number 82647, the new lawnmower there for $17,800 coming out of the capital equipment. And then at the very bottom, 82667, the new 2026 Equinox for $31,337.25. So otherwise, everything else is very routine and ordinary. I'll make a motion to approve the accounts payable in the total of $94,926.14.
I have two comments, both for Jeff. One, that lawnmower is that zero turn that we talked about a couple months back?
This is the 72 inch.
Okay, okay. Oh yeah, with that 72. And two, it's weird seeing you drive that Equinox around town. I'm like, I think that was, oh, it
I will
is?
say I made it in Fairmont.
Well, that's what we like to hear. We got a second on accounts payable?
I'll second that.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose, passes 400. Thanks, Kevin. New business, posting the police chief position. I know it's been discussed amongst the personnel committee, Bob, I, and Brian. We know the police chief's retiring in August of 2034. No. So I know there's been discussions, I kind of know, just to kind of start it off, in my opinion. I do know that we do have a good candidate or two internal. Externally, I mean, I have some questions. What could we get? What could it do to our department if we went external? So kind of with that said, you kind of know my feelings on that. I would like to keep it internal. It would be a 1 week posting versus a 2 week posting. Council have any other opinions, ideas, motions?
So like tonight, we can make a motion to keep it internal or to external, is that the?
That's kind of, yeah, that's kind of what we're asking for, just to kind of, I mean, chief has got, what was it, 5, 8, 3 months?
Little over 3.
Yeah, a little more, 3 months and 4 years, so, no. So, yeah, so it's just kind of one of those things, if we keep it internal, I think it's gonna be an easier transition versus external and interviewing and background checks. And I think there would be a lot more work for the chief if we went external versus internally. So there's some pros and cons of that, budget-wise, training-wise, stress-wise for the chief of going external, possibly, so.
I think the pros of going internally far outweigh anything else, and that would be my preferred direction, is to see a internal position posting first as the primary hope.
And I agree, and there's a lot of pros, there's some cons.
There are
I could-
pros. I was gonna say, if it seems like the trend is if you have the capable staff to do that internally, we're seeing a lot more internal promotions to the position of chief than we are seeing external. Usually, what we're seeing with the external, unless it's a significant size city, your major metropolitan, they often will do external. But they also, will have it open to internal if they have those candidates. But we're seeing a lot of trends where that's being handled inside, which it wasn't that way in the past. But there certainly, you have an investment within your community. If you've made that investment, you continue to contribute to that investment. You want to kind of get your investment out of it.
BOB? Any more input?
I like the idea of going internal. I also don't want to, there's always a chance that we may miss something. Whether we would or not, I don't know. I don't like to eliminate that possibility though. That's my take.
Well, I would make a motion that we do an internal posting for the chief position.
I'll second that.
Any further discussions? This is not a roll call, correct?
Nope.
No. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 3-1. So I think Chief and or Brian will get that out tomorrow, I think, when I talk to Brian, or soon.
I think Brian had something arranged.
Yeah.
With either way,
Yeah,
whichever way. it was
yeah, and I
gonna be
talked to
handled.
Brian today, so.
So I think that we'll post it as of tomorrow for the week.
I
Yeah.
thought that was the
Yeah.
possibility.
Yeah, and when I talked to Brian today, that was either way, he was gonna do it, either way, to get it out there and get moving.
I think the only change was just the amount of time it would have been posted for, so.
Here, it's
um,
gonna be a week.
Perfect. We'll jump to 6B, Resolution 2026 Pleasant Avenue unbudgeted transfers. Kim, you do, or not Miles, you doing Kim's job today?
Tonight I am.
Wearing all the hats.
So this is just a normal transfer we're kind of doing now. You've kind of seen it the last few council meetings since we've hired Abdo as our new auditors. This is just kind of how they request, so they have some sort of paper trail they can kind of go back to transfers on. So this will just be for the Pleasant Avenue Loop project this year, as you can see. And yeah, I don't have much more information other than that. She didn't give me too much, so. Yeah. I will also mention, we did have our audit this week as well, so I'll talk about that more in the updates as well, so.
Yeah, I mean, and I think Kim has done that with these transfers, are gonna be a little bit more often, which we didn't with our old auditor. So it's just something they require or want or recommend, so that's why we'll see some of those.
So I make a motion to approve 2026-16.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Bob? Aye. Joan?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
And I, passes 400. Thanks, Miles. 6C, chain link fence repair, Jeff.
Yeah, we've went out and got some quotes just to fix 20 feet of chain link along the city shop there where trees have fallen over the past few years. And then to put a gate back on that we had, I'm going to say that was probably gone, it's been gone 6, maybe 7 years now, just to provide security for that back area again on the south side of the building.
What was that price again?
6619 is the low bid.
66,000?
It's 6,619.
Oh, okay, I was like, gotta get the chain link bit.
It would be basically back to original product, other than the fact we're going to a cantilever roller gate instead of used to have a swing gate on a wheel.
And that will be coming out of our general fund in the building maintenance fund, so normal expense as well.
I'll make a motion to approve the repair gate for 6,600.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Passes 400. Jeff, one more question. I just thought of it. How are we doing on that water filling station, credit cards?
It's very close.
Okay.
The room's done, the manifold's built, the box is mounted, it is close. We're just waiting, we're trying to get like Ryan Mechanical to come. It's stainless pipe that we need threaded for a few of the pieces to get out to have our upper and lower fills. So we're basically to that point, and then calibration. We're waiting on calibration because we're also working on switching everything over to the looping project we did, which would put everybody on high pressure. So that would change our calibrations. If we started now, we're on the water tower, we'd be at 55 PSI. We're going to go to 82 PSI. So we want to do one calibration and done, but we're very close with that too, where we're actually looking at decommissioning the water tower as well.
Okay. I just know we're getting close to construction season, so I just
Yeah.
thought of that. So.
Yeah, we did get a new water meter for the wind backflow preventer. They're actually using it at the new apartment building right now.
Okay.
And that will actually go to out on 22nd Street now, and that will be, Sand and Gravel will be using that for a part of the summer.
Perfect.
So everything is being metered.
Perfect. Sorry about that. I got sidetracked. 6D, Highlands Development Agreement. Miles.
Yes, so the previous two council meetings, or maybe last month or so, we've done our preliminary plat and final plat for the Highlands development, which is coming in this summer. So this will be the 7th phase. So 28 single-family lots will be going up as part of the Highlands development. And we've been working on a development agreement for the last 4 or 5 months now. And have just been in negotiations the last 2 weeks with Bigelow Homes on getting that completed. So we're bringing that draft for you tonight. Councilmember Kevin Amundson thankfully pointed out a couple errors, so we had some typos. And I am embarrassed to say there was 2 mistakes with the numbers, which I will address in a second here. A couple big items of note for you as part of this agreement. There's no park dedication fees for this one. That is because on the very first agreement one of the first agreements, they had dedicated land in that agreement. So that was for the entire phase as a whole, multi-phases, which is odd, but in this case, a little bit different since there's a golf course there too. So again, can't speak on how it was done 20 years ago, but that's where we are. Another note was that they had in the 6th phase a sewer extension, which was for about $68,000. And that was supposed to be on a 10-year term. So they're in year 5 or 6 of that. So they are required to pay off the remaining balance, which is for $34,315. They will be posting a financial security on this project of 125%, which is required by our ordinance. That will be in the amount of $1,391,250. The regular cash requirements are $118,315. As you know, in your agreement, those numbers are incorrect. And that was where I messed up. I miscalculated we originally did 120% for financial security as part of our normal draft that we have, but our ordinance requires 125%. Thankfully, Kevin pointed it out to me, so I got that addressed. And then I just miscalculated on the cash requirements. It's actually $118,000. In the agreement, we have $104,000. So just keep that in mind that it'll be more than what's there. I miscalculated it for whatever reason. So that's my fault completely. Those fees in particular are for engineering administration, legal expenses, which is 0.5%, and then for the sewer extension as well. So not a ton of fees, but on our previous agreements, there were no fees at all. So I think having anything is a really good slam dunk for the city on that one. And I also added a provision about site maintenance during construction because we have a couple comments during our public hearings from the general public in the area about how in previous phases, some of the site maintenance was poor and a lot of debris or trash blew into other people's properties. So we added a stronger provision in there that gives us a little bit more room to say, no, this is our contractual agreement. It needs to be clean and it can't affect the neighboring properties as well. So those are kind of the big notes I have, but I'll open it up to any questions.
Last time we had talked about this, there were several things that the engineer talked about and that they were in the process of going through.
Yes.
Those things get addressed?
Yes, those are all addressed, and legally they have to be addressed before anything's recorded anyways. Yep. So the final plat has yet to be recorded, and that's because it's contingent upon us approving and the signatures and recording of this development agreement too. So all these things will be addressed, and Bill is not here tonight, but Bill has been, they actually forwarded us construction plans and everything. From my perspective has been addressed, but I don't know if he has anything he still needs to work out, but we've obviously have never had a problem with Bigelow or working with their engineers on addressing those concerns. So I think we're okay where we are now. And again, all this stuff will be ironed out for sure by the time everything is recorded with the county.
Any more questions on the?
Just on the park part there, so are you saying like, well, I know there's a park, I kind of live in that area down there, and so we're just saying they don't have to put an additional park?
Yes, so
Kind of
that one, I don't know, and it would have been noted in the preliminary and final plats anyways. This is kind of like an odd phase, there really wasn't space for anything. I don't know why that had occurred because it really wasn't in any agreements. I think they kind of just put it in one of their plats at one point, just because it was probably an odd lot and they were like, we'll just put something there for the general public. But their original note about parkland dedication was that the golf course, because it was originally a 9-hole golf course, they added 9 holes and that was meant to be the parkland dedication. A little bit weird, I think, but that's the way it was done when it was first signed in 2003. And so lots of things changed. One other interesting note too is that they wanted to pay their sewer and water availability charges up front in the first agreement. So they paid us a sum of almost $300,000 in 2003. for those, for that. So that's for the entire 90 acres of future development, which, as our attorney Mike Flaherty noted, is really weird. And he didn't really like that, but that's what happened. And so that's why you don't see that as a fee in here too, like you saw with the Keller Bartman building and other projects we had, just because they decided to pay it up front. And that's the reason you don't see it in the previous agreements either, is because they already paid it, I guess. And Kim and I had to go back and dig back in 2003 to make sure that was actually paid. So, yeah.
They probably came out really good on inflation then.
Well, that's why they paid it up front.
Yeah.
Right. And
25 years later, it's probably gone up a little bit.
And our fees have gone up for it too. So they saved an ample sum of money, I'd say. But
I'll make a motion to approve as amended the Highlands Development Agreement.
I'll second that.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 400. Thanks, Mile, for all that work on that. 6D, set a work session. And there's basically two topics that we want to talk about during work session is the water billing, and then also the health insurance, something about when our renewals are, they want to change the renewal, but won't affect our budget.
yes, so we had, Kim, I, and Brian had a meeting with I think he's our consultant on our health insurance services, or he's part of our health insurance. And we were looking for a way where we could know about our rates for next year earlier in the year so that we can budget for it. Because as you know, we get our rates in October. And that's a problem because we set a preliminary budget in September and we can't go any higher than that. So if the rates come in at 20% increase, then we are out of luck almost. And we have to really maneuver. We had to do it last year too.
So that's what we had to do.
And so one thing that he proposed is that we can change the structure of our year and move it a month earlier. So basically the benefit year would start in December and go till the next year. So like we're moving things up a month and that will get us our rates in July. So we'll see what the increase is in July. That way we can budget for it. Now this is a little bit confusing. And so Kim and Brian will probably bring some explanations and some charts for you to kind of paint a graph picture of it at the work session. But that's just kind of the idea we're floating because it's kind of a hassle on us to budget for it. And it can even be a problem in union negotiations as well when that comes up because, well, we don't have the rates until October. And that screws things up because, I mean, we started negotiating in August and September. So that can be a problem. So that's just kind of what we're proposing. We're going to let you all talk about it at the work session, and then we'll bring some more information for you then.
So the dates that Brian and I talked about, one out of the 3 dates works for me the best, would be the 19th, which is Tuesday.
June?
May.
May, sorry.
No, yeah. Otherwise, the 11th would work for me, but the 20th would not. That's kind of what Brian and I talked about. So let's start with the 19th. I think it only should take about an hour.
What time on the 19th?
5:30? I mean, I'm open. I'm just doing 5:30 for,
On the 19th?
That would be the 19th as well.
Yes.
is that, or that's code, ain't it?
Mhm.
Well, that's at 5:30.
We'll also be discussing some preliminary budget ideas as well for this work session. Nothing in depth, but this is just the time of year when we start kicking things around. So just heads up on that. That'll be part of the discussion too.
What is your, could we cancel the code? I mean, I don't know what your topics are on that.
I would prefer not to cancel
Okay.
this code, but
We missed the last one. Well,
Yeah.
We didn't miss it. We were working on stuff, so.
yep. And I have
The one
stuff,
that
so.
picked all that up,
So how does the 11th look? Monday, the 11th, which is Monday. Bobby?
If we do it at 5:30, and it only takes an hour, I have fire training.
What time does that
Or
start?
6:30, so if we got an hour.
I'm okay. I mean, if that works with everybody else, I mean, you have 45, 50 minutes.
I can make it work.
Don't, so let's do Monday, the 11th at 5:30, and we'll just try to keep it an hour. And if Bob has to leave, because it goes longer, he leaves, at least we'll get the topic. So we'll set I just need a motion to set the work session Monday, the 11th from 5:30 to 6:30.
I will make that motion.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Passes 400. Thanks, Miles. Reports, Miles.
So I'll have a couple updates because I'm covering a few people tonight. So number one was for Kim, we had our budget our audit this week. So Abdo came in, they did field work only on Tuesday and Wednesday, which is different than what we're used to because our previous auditor were here all week, sometimes even into the next week as well. So they did their field work this week. They were here and they got to see our processes and they got to handle everything and they completed everything and it ran very smoothly and we had no really big hiccups, which is really nice. I think Kim thought this process was a lot less stressful than previous years. So yeah, we'll get more information when we get those audits back, but things went really well. A couple notes from our community development director, Kurt Meister. The Zumbrota Economic Development Authority voted to continue advertising the city by purchasing some Google Performance Max ads. EDA used Facebook ads last year, but felt the advertisements weren't reaching as many people as possible. So the Google Ads campaign will work with users' online algorithms and allowing advertisements promoting Zumbrota to appear more frequently to targeted audiences. The ads will highlight a lot of the community attractions we have and amenities, including the covered bridge, the new community pool, campground, and our walking and biking trails, strong school system, and our new housing opportunities and local festivals as well. And they approved the purchase of a 3-month advertising campaign for $3,100 through Tulip Tree Studios of Stewartville. That came from the promotional budget of the EDA. And the second item is that the EDA is exploring some ways to better utilize our historical plaque that we have at the roundabout near Quick Trip. As you may know, it's kind of in a weird spot. And it's really rarely seen by the public and may benefit from being relocated near the existing monuments by the covered bridge. So Kurt has been working with Jeff to kind of identify a solution for relocating the display. Due to the size and structure of the monument, it can't be moved in its entirety. Instead, the plaque will need to be removed from the existing monument and mounted on a new stone base. In addition, a map of the historic Dubuque Trail would be added to enhance the educational and historical value of the display. Anyone interested in seeing the wording display is currently displayed on the plaque and is encouraged to contact Kurt Meister by email. So those are the updates from EDA. And then just for me and for Brian, both Brian and I attended the Minnesota City Managers Association conference last week from Wednesday to Friday morning, basically. So we got to hear a lot of great speakers there and got a lot of networking opportunities with other cities. So we got to flow a lot of different ideas around, talk about different topics. So that was really great. We also had our groundbreaking ceremony last week for the Keller Bartman Bridgeview apartment building, which went really well. We had a pretty good turnout, a lot of different members of the community. And then finally, Miranda and I this week attended our first election training. So getting ready for the primary and general election this year. So that's it.
Thanks, Brian. Rob. Miles. Chief.
Not a whole lot. Actually, Gary Schroeder Senior stopped in today and had some good news in regards to the Memorial Highway that's being renamed and was able to show me the sign that they're going to be placing. And it'll be up, it looks like to me, in some prominent sections of the north and south end of the city. So it'll be quite visible. And so we're excited to see that Memorial Highway being renamed. Our newest employee is on track, field training wise. So we're hoping maybe by the end of the month, Misty will be ready to roll on her own. Other than that, I got nothing.
We're gonna do a ribbon cutting or a ceremony for the new signs for the highway?
I'm not quite sure what's planned, but I would think that would be pretty appropriate to do that. I know they're looking to do some fundraising because that is at, those type of things aren't at public's expense. So they're looking at doing a little fundraising and so forth with that. So we're kind of looking at ideas.
Perfect. Thanks, Chief. Mr. Meyer.
Nothing tonight.
I just want to piggyback on the groundbreaking for Bridgeview. Joan and Kevin there. I think we had a great turnout. I mean, they're moving right along. I mean, I almost got to drive by it daily just to check up on it. So I think it'll be a nice addition. Has it been okay with Public Works? I mean, anything they've needed or done or?
Yeah, we removed a couple light poles that were on that street, and other than that, it's been pretty smooth, so.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect. That's all I got. Bob? Nothing. Joan? Kevin?
Nothing tonight.
Meeting adjourned. Hey, do you want to help lay some mulch? Yeah, this week.
Pretty sure John wants something.